Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Ultra Confusion interview. This time we have Jordan. So Jordan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Jordan Hemingway. I'm one of the developers at Refract and work on all kinds of random stuff there, programming and audio and whatever.
So what game are you showing off at MomoCon?
We're showing off Distance.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about Distance.
Sure. So it's basically a racing platformer. Your car has all these different abilities, and you kind of need to utilize them to survive through the world. And the world is basically trying to kill you.
Okay.
And as long as you can, continue to survive through each sector, you're succeeding. So what we're showing here is a snippet from our story mode, which is basically you're kind of spawned on the edge of this space station. You're kind of working your way towards the center and trying to figure out why this whole place is so messed up. And kind of after the story mode, you got all this arcade stuff to play with. You got stunt mode and sprint races. We have our level editor exposed so people can make their own maps and upload them on Steam Workshop.
Okay.
And yeah, we're really honestly just trying to experiment with narrative in racing games and what the car can do in a racing game and just push the boundaries as much as we can.
So you said story mode. So in your opinion, what amount of time should a player spend to make you feel like they really got the full experience?
How much time should they play the game?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they play for a couple hours.
Right.
I think to complete a lot of the game, it will actually take quite a few hours. But in reality, the way we're making the game, it's short and punchy.
Okay.
We don't really want it to be a 20-hour experience where you're just bored to tears for 20 hours.
Right.
So, I mean, the story mode is definitely a short story mode, and then there's just a lot of arcade content to kind of like, give you a lot of flexibility and possibilities with what you can do inside the game.
So in the press release, I saw car parkour.
Yeah.
So you're like you're jumping and bouncing off things.
Yeah, totally. So the freedom is a really big theme in the game. So you eventually pick up the ability to boost and jump, kind of normal platforming type stuff, and then you pick up the ability to fly. And at that point, you're limited by the fact that you will overheat after a certain point. You can't, fly for forever.
Right.
But there are definitely some places off the track, little secrets and stuff that you can explore if you want. And eventually get to the point where your car can actually rotate. And from that point, it kind of just really gets crazy, and the track becomes more of a suggestion than a requirement. And so as you're kind of traversing through the world, it's basically you can do wall rides, ceiling rides, and drive honestly wherever you want.
Right. So what platforms are you trying to get the game out on?
It's currently on Windows, Mac, and Linux through Steam Early Access.
Okay.
And we're hoping to add, or we're planning to add PS4 to that roster when we hit V1.
So you said early access. So what's the entrance fee?
It's $20 right now.
Okay.
Yep.
So up to this point, what has been the biggest hurdle that y'all have had to overcome to get your game where it is today?
I'd say honestly, probably the biggest hurdle is trying to go for a story in a racing game and experimenting with narrative and kind of doing it the way that we want to do it. Like our inspirations are from really bizarre, not racing game things, and it's like, okay, merging some of the interesting ideas we have. Okay, but you're going a million miles an hour. How are you going to convey that to people? And finding logical ways to interact with that kind of stuff.
So, if it's possible, could you name one of those games that doesn't have to do with racing, but you want to take some of the aspects and put it in your game?
Probably the two biggest ones for me right now are Half-Life, or specifically Half-Life 2 and Silent Hill.
Okay.
And I think both of those, it's not really specific parts of the story or specific characters or anything like that. That's the main inspiration. It's the general sense of feeling in this world and feeling like, wow, this is a real place, and I really want to kind of be able to explore it. And it drives you to be a part of that and really get you engaged. That's the thing that I feel like if I emulate just a piece of that, I'm really happy.
And how long have you been working on this game?
5 years so far.
Do you have like an estimated time of gold, or are you just early access until we got to finish?
We've basically been aiming for the end of this year, but we basically have had the when it's ready mentality for quite a while. And yeah, we're going to stick to that. So that's the clarification I have to make.
Yeah. So what words of wisdom or advice would you give anyone who's trying to get into the indie scene, or maybe is there but doesn't know what direction to go?
I'd say the most simple but effective thing that I'll always say is just create something. There's really nothing blocking you at this point. You got Unity, you got Blender, and a billion YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
And I did go to school for game development. I went to DigiPen.
I went to Full Sail.
Okay, cool, awesome. So, you can see that, it's essentially like, and this whole team was built off of Digipen students.
Okay.
So we all had a shared mentality, and that was really great as a way to, not only meet like-minded people and, be forced to kind of learn programming and stuff from someone else's, very rigid schedule. But for something like the music, so I do all the music in the game, and all of that has been 100% self-taught. Just load up Ableton and try to make something. And I feel like, it was more about saying, okay, I have a project that's going to need audio. I'm going to need it. Now, how am I going to pull this off? And having that constraint of saying I have something to create. And it's not about raw learning random skills. It's about essentially creating the box that you're trying to work within. So that's the main thing I'd recommend, if anything, is just get creating, start working, and then quickly you'll realize what things you love and hate. Maybe you loved the idea of something in a game, but when you start implementing, you're like, nope, I gotta get someone else to do that part of it.
Okay, so where can people find out more information about your game and your company?
It's survivethedistance.com is going to be like the hub of all the information.
Okay.
And we've got a Discord community that's built, has been building around the game, and so you can find the link to that there. Twitter and Facebook are just Refract Studios. The company's Refract, and yeah, so that's kind of like where we're going to be posting all of our updates, early access updates and stuff like that.
All right, cool. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to do this interview. So hopefully you'll get it out at the end of this year so everyone can enjoy, and hopefully, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. So hopefully everyone enjoys it as much as possible. I wish you the best in the future with this project and going forward. And once again, thank you for taking time for an interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.